Folks, Trump has just issued an ultimatum to Iran. If by this Monday night the Persians don't open the Strait of Hormuz to all the ships, they're going to begin destroying Iran's power plants. Oh my God, and do you know what Tehran's reply has been? Oh yes, well you should know that if you touch our power plants, we will close Hormuz permanently and destroy all the energy infrastructure in the entire Middle East. All of it, without exception. You'll see what a mess. Consider that would mean 20% of the world's oil blocked indefinitely, plus the extra from the desalination plants I told you about the other day, destroyed. So, the Middle East in darkness and without water. Come on, today we need to understand what the hell is happening in week 4 of this war. Why did Iran manage to get missiles into Dimona, which is 13 kilometers from the Israeli nuclear facility? And why is the United States literally running out of missiles to keep firing? Bear in mind that if this keeps escalating, Spain has already said it could lose up to a point of GDP this year. Alright, let's get to the core of the issue. Saturday night, Washington time, Trump posted on Truth Social, his very own social media platform, the following. If Iran does not fully and without threats open the Strait of Hormuz within 48 hours, the United States will attack and destroy its power plants, beginning with the largest one. Just like that, out of the blue, no diplomatic warning. Destroying energy facilities is forbidden by the Geneva Convention, but everyone here just ignores it all, and frankly, who cares? Fine then. The Yanks' plan to de-escalate. Sometimes you must first escalate hard. So, war developments. Look, since the conflict began, ships crossing the Strait of Hormuz have plummeted drastically. I mean, before, about 150 oil tankers would pass daily. Well, now there are only 5, and nearly all are linked to Iran or China. It's insane, because some ships are paying up to $2 million to Iran to guarantee passage. I mean, $2 million just to cross a few kilometers of water. What a business, kid. Iran, for its part, says the strait is open for everyone except for Iran's enemies, which means, in plain terms, that they decide who passes and who doesn't. The Iranian foreign minister has said, what is happening is that ships are avoiding the strait because insurers fear the war that you have started, not Iran. So, all this mess is your fault, Mr. United States and Israel. Trump, for his part, views opening the Strait of Hormuz as a very simple military move, but the truth is that NATO hasn't lifted a finger for weeks, although the organization's top boss said this weekend he's absolutely convinced the alliance will reopen Hormuz. However, he hasn't said when or how, and Trump just recently called his allies cowards for refusing to help with the naval mission. Mamma mia. But the real problem here isn't the U.S. threats, but Iran's. Because to destroy all the region's energy infrastructure, I mean all the power plants, plus the desalination plants, and also companies with U.S. capital, that includes countries not even involved in the war. So, this could be something absolutely brutal. But let's take this step by step. What Iran has stated exactly is, if Washington attacks our power plants, Iran will completely close the Strait of Hormuz and will not reopen it until the destroyed plants are rebuilt. Period. No deadlines, no messing around, no negotiation. Once we rebuild it, maybe I'll reopen it. Maybe it'll bother you. Then there's the issue of retaliation he also brought up, which includes attacking energy infrastructure in Israel, information technology systems, water desalination plants that the United States has in the region, and power plants in any country hosting U.S. military bases. So here we have Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain. Well, all of them in the crosshairs, to hell with them. But of course that would be crossing many red lines for many of the countries that are currently receiving projectiles from Iran and have only complained by posting tweets. And hold on, because Iran's parliament president has gone even further. He says if their power plants are attacked, then wow, energy and oil facilities throughout the entire region will be considered legitimate targets and will be irreversibly destroyed. And he added that the result of that would be an increase in global oil prices. Of course, I'm also telling you. In fact, Brent is already at $110 a barrel, and experts say it could stay at these exorbitant prices until next year if this war doesn't stop soon. Okay, and while these threats were happening, other things have been going on, my friend. Iran has managed to place missiles in Dimona and Arad, which are in southern Israel, right in the middle of the desert. And this is a big deal, huh? Because Dimona is only 13 kilometers from Israel's main nuclear facility, which is quite ironic since Israel has been denying the existence of its nuclear weapons for several decades. Well, those Iranian projectiles have penetrated the Iron Dome, leaving 175 injured. Netanyahu, the man with 6 fingers, has gone in person to see the blown-up buildings and there to greet the people. You should know that the Israeli army says it has been intercepting 92% of the more than 400 ballistic missiles that Iran has launched since the war began. And the other remaining 8% just falls, and, well, it blows up a part of the map. But perhaps the most disturbing thing in recent days is that Iran has launched 2 intermediate-range ballistic missiles against the Diego García military base, which is in the Indian Ocean, over 4,000 kilometers from Iran. However, they didn't hit a single one. One of them was intercepted by a Yankee ship, and another one simply ended up in the water. But the important thing is that it could demonstrate that Iran already possesses missiles capable of reaching London, Paris, or Berlin, something Israel has been saying for quite some time. Although NATO claims they cannot confirm it, they do say they could be very close to having it. And if this is true, well, the entire war map changes completely. Meanwhile, there's also a third open front that's going a little more unnoticed, but it's really interesting to analyze. And Israel is blowing up the bridges over the Litani River in southern Lebanon, one by one. Boom! Bam! According to Israel, what they want is to destroy the entire area of southern Lebanon, which borders their country, following the same model they used in Gaza. The official objective is to isolate Hezbollah from the north of the country so they cannot move combat equipment. But of course this also impacts over 1 million displaced people trying to head north, fleeing the Israeli army, And the casualties in Lebanon have already exceeded 1,000 since the conflict started. To conclude this summary, I'm going to tell you some news that is driving many analysts crazy. The CEO of Rheinmetall, one of the world's largest arms manufacturers, said the following in an interview. All arsenals in Europe, America, and the Middle East are almost empty. If the war in Iran lasts one more month, I don't think we'll have missiles available. Referring to the United States, oh my, well, this lack of stock has been going on for a long time. And with the whole Ukraine war situation since 2022, military experts had already warned that precision munition spending in an industrial war exceeded Western production capacity. And now, of course, the straw that broke the camel's back has arrived, the Iran war, where, by the way, the Pentagon has already attacked over 7,800 targets. And for this, they've almost always used thousands of Tomahawk missiles launched from destroyers in the Arabian Sea. Look, to give you an idea of the number of Tomahawks used in this war, which has only been going on for a month, the Yankees have launched more than they've given to Ukraine in 3 years of conflict with Russia. And now for the trivia question. How long do you think it takes to manufacture a new one? So, one of those really cool Tomahawks. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Do you have an answer yet? Well, I'll tell you. RTX manufactures the Tomahawk, and they produce about 60 of them a year. A year. What? So they only make a little over 5 Tomahawks a month? What are you telling me? Well, yeah, man. And on top of that, each one of those ultra-advanced missiles costs $2 million and takes on average 2 years to be operational from when Congress approves its purchase because the components are top of the line. Although, well, I also have to tell you that before the war, earlier this year, the factory reached an agreement with the government to boost production and make 12 to 15 missiles a month. But that seems very little to me, but oh well, something is better than nothing, I guess. By the way, the Pentagon has asked Congress for an additional $200 billion for the war, and Trump justified it by saying, killing bad guys costs money. Alright, and how's the war going? Well, like shit, because that's what a war is. Look, in Iran, it's estimated there are more than 3,200 dead. In Lebanon, as I've already told you, there are another 1,000 fatalities. In Israel, 16 deaths have already been confirmed, and the United States has lost 13 soldiers in the area. In fact, Trump needs to be extremely careful with this conflict, Because 60% of Americans already disapprove of this war, and more haters are piling up on him, right? He's not stupid, he knows it, and he's been changing the demands, okay? First, it demanded Iran's unconditional surrender, then it shifted to regime change, and now it's directly saying, please, open the Strait of Hormuz, please. And here's a historical fact. The last time the United States had to escort oil tankers through this area was in 1987, when I was born, actually. Well, during the war between Iran and Iraq. That operation was a damn disaster because it ended with an American destroyer almost splitting in two due to a pathetic Iranian mine worth only a few $1,000s compared to a damn destroyer which costs hundreds of millions. And that, my friend, is very concerning because Iran has repeated that it has thousands of mines ready to blow up the entire Persian Gulf with little gifts. And that would truly mean the biggest possible mess when it comes to the price of oil. So that's where we stand, This week we'll know what will happen and if the United States will finally dare to fulfill its ultimatum and destroy Iran's power plants. So whatever happens, don't forget to subscribe to Illustrated News because I'll be telling you all about it right here. Later, Pizza Pals.